Chosen one, pause for a moment and understand this clearly. You did not find this message found you. Something beyond algorithms, beyond coincidence, beyond habit guided you here. Before your mind decided, your spirit responded. God says this moment was scheduled long before your awareness caught up to it. You were not scrolling aimlessly, you were being summoned. There is a reason your attention slowed when you encountered this, a reason your heart leaned in before your thoughts formed objections. That pull you felt was not curiosity, it was recognition. Heaven has a way of calling what belongs to it, and when the time is right, resistance fades quietly. This message carries a frequency your spirit has been waiting for, even if your conscious mind did not know how to name it. God says you are here because something hidden in your bloodline has reached its appointed hour. What was sealed could not remain sealed any longer. What was protected in silence is now safe to surface. This is not a general word. It is targeted. It is precise. It is personal. And the reason it feels intimate is because it is addressing something already alive within you. You may feel emotion rising without context, or a strange calm settling in as though something long awaited is finally arriving. That is alignment. Heaven does not rush revelation. It releases it only when the vessel is capable of holding it without distortion. God says this message is being released now because you have been prepared through life, through pressure, through loss, through confusion, through endurance. You did not arrive here accidentally, you arrived here equipped. And because this is an activation, not entertainment, you are being asked to stay present until the end. Do not skim this. Do not rush it. Let it unfold slowly, the way truth always does. As a signal, not to me, but to the unseen, that you are consciously stepping into alignment, type 99 in the comments. That number is not superstition, it is intention. And if there is a desire, a prayer, or an unspoken longing in your heart, release it there as well. Heaven listens when readiness speaks. What God is about to reveal may surprise you, but it will also bring relief. This did not begin with you. And that truth is not meant to reduce your importance, it is meant to stabilize it. Before your life ever unfolded, before your name was spoken on earth, before your destiny began expressing itself through choices and experiences, there was a forerunner positioned in your bloodline. Your grandfather was not simply a family member, he was a carrier. God says certain assignments are too vast for one lifetime, too intricate for one generation, too heavy for a single vessel. So heaven divides them across time. Your grandfather carried the beginning of something he was never meant to complete. He held the root, not the fruit. He bore the initiation, not the manifestation. That is why his life may have felt unfinished, unresolved, or strangely incomplete. He was not meant to see the full picture. He was meant to preserve it intact until the appointed successor arrived. Awakening rarely begins at the origin point. It usually begins mid-story. That is why you feel as though you stepped into something already moving. You did. You were born into momentum. You are not inventing meaning. You are inheriting trajectory. God says the difference between origin and activation matters. Origin establishes possibility. Activation releases function. Your grandfather established the spiritual permission. You are releasing the expression. And that is why this awakening feels both new and familiar at the same time. You are not discovering something foreign, you are remembering something ancient. The relay did not fail. It was paused. And now, the pause has ended. You may have wondered why your grandfather never fully explained himself, why certain conversations stopped short, why questions dissolved into silence instead of answers. God says his silence was not absence, it was encoding. Some mysteries are not meant to be spoken because language would fragment what must remain whole. He carried something that exceeded vocabulary, something his environment did not have the maturity to receive. God often entrusts weighty assignments to vessels who understand just enough to protect them, but not enough to prematurely release them. Your grandfather felt it. He sensed it. He lived under its weight. But he was never given the mandate to translate it into words. Silence was not repression, it was protection. Had he spoken openly, the mystery would have been misunderstood, diluted, mocked, or broken apart by those who lacked the capacity to hold it. So God wrapped it in quiet. He hid it in routine, in discipline, in restraint. What others perceived as emotional distance was spiritual responsibility. What felt like detachment was containment. Carrying without explaining is one of the heaviest assignments heaven gives, and your grandfather carried it faithfully. He bore confusion without complaint. He held pressure without applause. And God says that silence was never meant to be permanent. It was meant to bridge generations. The weight he carried without language is now meeting a vessel with voice. And what he could not express safely in his time is now ready to move through you. There were signs others overlooked, subtle, quiet indicators that something about your grandfather did not fit neatly into ordinary categories. Family stories may have felt incomplete, timelines vague, details avoided. He may have been labeled eccentric, overly serious, emotionally deep, withdrawn, or difficult to understand. God says those labels were the world's attempt to name what it could not interpret. Spiritual sensitivity is often misidentified in environments that value conformity over depth. Your grandfather saw more, felt more, and processed life on a frequency others could not access. That difference was not social, it was spiritual. He may have needed solitude to regulate what he carried. He may have reacted strongly to injustice, hypocrisy, or noise because his spirit was tuned to truth. The world mislabels what it cannot contain. Chosen bloodlines are rarely celebrated while forming. They are questioned, misunderstood, and minimized. But heaven does not misread signals. God recognized his difference as qualification, not flaw. And what others dismissed as strange was actually preparation. Those same traits may now be surfacing in you. The depth, the introspection, the discomfort with surface-level living. That is not coincidence. It is inheritance. The difference that isolated him is now awakening in you, not to isolate you, but to activate you. God often hides his most powerful encounters in places the world would never think to look. For your grandfather, the sacred did not announce itself with spectacle or witnesses. It unfolded quietly, repeatedly, faithfully, in ordinary spaces that carried extraordinary weight. There may have been a chair he always returned to, a corner of a room, a garden path, a workshop, a porch, a place where time seemed to slow around him. These were not habits, they were altars. God says these hidden rooms were meeting points, places of silent communion where no one else needed to understand what was happening. Heaven does not always require visibility to validate an encounter. Some encounters are designed to be unseen so they can mature without interference. Your grandfather met God in stillness, not noise. In routine, not ritual. In consistency, not drama. Power was deposited without announcement. Strength was built without applause. Those quiet moments when he sat alone, worked alone, walked alone, were not empty. They were exchanges. Heaven spoke, and something was planted. God hides power in ordinary places so it can survive long enough to fulfill its assignment. That is why nothing about those spaces seemed special to anyone else. They were protected by their simplicity. And even now, long after he has passed, those places may still carry residue. Sacred moments imprint space. What was encountered there did not dissolve, it settled. And now, as you awaken, you may feel drawn to similar solitude, similar stillness, similar rhythms. That is not coincidence. It is alignment calling you into the same depth, but with a different mandate. When your grandfather's life ended, the mystery did not. God says spiritual assignments are not terminated by death, they are transferred. What he carried was never dependent on his breath alone. It was anchored in covenant. The body returned to the earth, but the deposit returned to waiting. The soil is not an ending place, it is a vault. Heaven uses time the way humans use containers. When something is not ready to emerge, it is stored. Your grandfather's death did not silence the assignment. It protected it until the correct vessel reached maturity. That is why the mystery remained dormant, not lost. Ancestral spiritual energy does not wander aimlessly. It anchors itself to bloodlines, watching for resonance. And when resonance appears, it awakens. God says the stirring you feel is not grief, it is recognition. Something that has been waiting recognizes you. The mystery survived because it was never meant to express itself through one lifetime. It required continuity. And now, continuity has arrived. You are not resurrecting the past, you are responding to the present moment when inheritance activates. What slept has awakened because the air is ready to receive it without fear. There are emotions you carry that have no clear origin. Longings you cannot trace, sadness without narrative, strength without explanation, dreams that feel older than your experiences. God says this is not imagination. This is memory transfer. Spiritual inheritance does not move through logic, it moves through resonance. You did not inherit stories, you inherited awareness. That is why no one had to teach you certain things. You simply knew. Awakening does not always begin with information, it begins with familiarity. Your spirit recognizes what your mind never learned. This is how soul-to-soul legacy works. Your grandfather's awareness did not disappear, it transferred as frequency. And frequency does not need words. That is why certain truths feel obvious to you even when you cannot explain how you know them. This inheritance is not emotional baggage, it is spiritual readiness. You are not burdened by what you feel. You are being activated by it. God says what you feel, without reason, is actually responding to alignment. The memory is no longer dormant. It is coming online. And as it does, understanding will follow, not all at once, but steadily, safely, and clearly. Chosen one, understand this deeply. When you arrived on Earth, you were not unfamiliar in the unseen. God says there are witnesses assigned to bloodlines, watchers of covenant, keepers of timing, observers of readiness. They do not watch out of curiosity. They watch for activation. When you were born, recognition occurred without introduction. That is why your life has carried unusual protection alongside unusual pressure. That is why certain dangers missed you without explanation, while certain trials met you early. Recognition brings both covering and testing. The unseen knew who you were before you knew yourself. Your name was acknowledged long before you could speak it. That is why moments in your life felt orchestrated, why paths crossed at precise times, why doors closed without effort and others opened unexpectedly. Recognition does not announce itself, it responds. And now, as you stand at the edge of this revelation, that recognition is intensifying. The watchers know the timing has shifted. The vessel is ready. The mystery is no longer dormant. You are standing at the edge of ancient truth, not to be overwhelmed by it, but to walk forward with it embodied. Heaven is not observing you with doubt. It is observing you with expectation. What has been drawing you lately is not fear, pressure, or instability. God says it is alignment announcing itself. Anxiety scatters the soul, but this pull gathers it. Even when it unsettles you, it sharpens rather than drains. There is a quiet gravity working inside you, a steady inward draw that does not rush you outward, but calls you deeper. That is how readiness feels when it arrives. Spiritual gravity does not shout. It hums. You may have tried to label it restlessness, impatience, or dissatisfaction, but none of those words quite fit. This pull does not come with panic. It comes with clarity wrapped in mystery. You feel compelled, not chased. Drawn, not cornered. God says this is what happens when an inheritance senses that the vessel has reached capacity. What has been dormant recognizes alignment and begins to stir. This is not anxiety about becoming something else. It is confirmation that you are finally becoming what you already are. That tug in your chest, that quiet urgency without fear, that sense that something is about to shift is not imagination. It is readiness resonating with timing. God does not awaken mysteries early. He awakens them when resistance dissolves and receptivity is formed. You are not being pushed forward. You are being invited inward. And that invitation marks the lifting of the first veil. Not full revelation, but access. Not explanation, but permission. This pull is not demanding answers. It is asking for trust. Alignment always precedes understanding. As alignment strengthens, the past does not remain silent. It begins to echo, not as memory, but as instruction. God says when a generational mystery awakens, it announces itself through repetition and resonance. You may hear your grandfather's name spoken unexpectedly, stumble upon stories you were never told, or notice habits, phrases, or emotional responses surfacing in you that feel strangely inherited. These are not coincidences. They are echoes. Patterns repeat across generations when the assignment is re-entering motion. Synchronicity is heaven's language when logic would interfere. That is why signs feel subtle yet precise. You are not meant to chase them. You are meant to recognize them. Each echo is a confirmation that you are walking in alignment, not searching in confusion. God says the past is not calling you backward, it is reaching forward. When the same themes, struggles, or strengths surface across generations, it is not repetition, it is continuation. The assignment did not fail, it paused. And now, as you move forward, the echoes become clearer. One day you will look back and realize nothing was random. Every chance moment was placement. Every reminder was rehearsal. Every sign was a trail marker saying you are still on the path. God wants to correct something gently but firmly. You are not being called to investigate the past. You are being called to complete it. This is not an assignment for analysis, research, or emotional excavation. You are not a detective sent to gather clues. You are a continuation sent to embody resolution. Curiosity looks backward for understanding. Calling moves forward with responsibility. You do not need every detail of your grandfather's life to fulfill what he carried. Completion does not require information. It requires alignment. Many people get stuck trying to figure out what they are meant to live. God says stop digging for explanation where embodiment is required. The mystery was never meant to be explained. It was meant to be expressed through a life lived in truth. What paused with him resumes through you, not because you know more, but because you are positioned differently. You are shaped by different pressures, refined by different trials, prepared for a different hour. Investigation keeps you in the past. Completion places you in the present. And heaven is not asking you to understand everything, only to move faithfully with what has been entrusted to you now. This revelation is not happening now because you became curious enough. It is happening because you became capable enough. God does not release weight to vessels still learning how to stand. Capacity matters more than interest. Everything you endured was forming readiness, not delaying destiny. The confusion, the waiting, the false starts, the pressure, the isolation, none of it was wasted. Each experience expanded your ability to hold truth without collapsing under it. God waited because He is careful, not because He was withholding. Silence was maintained until the vessel could remain grounded while expanding. Your grandfather carried mystery in silence because expression would have crushed him in his time. You carry it now because you have been shaped to withstand visibility, responsibility, and clarity. Timing is not about impatience, it is about integrity. Heaven does not rush inheritance. It releases it only when maturity is present. And now, the silence breaks not because the mystery changed, but because you did. You are no longer forming. You are formed enough to carry forward what was waiting for you. God says not everything that carries power announces itself as sacred. Some of the most significant anchors in your life appear ordinary precisely because they were designed to survive unnoticed. There may be objects you feel drawn to without logic, items passed down, things you refuse to discard, places that stir something deep inside you for no visible reason. These are not sentimental attachments. They are anchors. Heaven often hides spiritual markers in plain sight, so they are preserved until the appointed time. If power were obvious, interference would have followed. So God concealed weight inside the mundane. A watch, a book, a tool, a photograph, a piece of land, a house, a room, these are not random. They carry residue of encounter, obedience, endurance. God says do not search frantically for them. What is aligned will surface naturally. You will be led, not driven. Recognition will feel calm, not frantic. Peace, not excitement, will identify what matters. Anchors do not pull you forward. They stabilize you while movement occurs. When you encounter one, it will not overwhelm you. It will ground you. That is how you know it is real. This awakening is not chaotic, even if it feels unfamiliar. God says divine mysteries are structured, not scattered. Confusion comes from misalignment, not revelation. You are not meant to see the entire path before you take the next step. Heaven reveals in sequence because growth requires movement. Faith is not blind belief, it is obedient motion without full explanation. The need to understand everything before acting is not wisdom here, it is resistance disguised as caution. God has mapped steps, not destinations. As you walk, clarity unfolds. As you move, alignment deepens. You are not wandering. You are being guided precisely, even when the guidance feels subtle. Trust does not mean certainty, it means consistency. Keep moving with what has already been revealed, and what is next will meet you on the path. Order exists even when visibility does not. Your grandfather carried the frequency because his assignment was containment. Yours is amplification. God says every generation has a different responsibility to the same truth. What one generation must guard, the next must express. Your grandfather absorbed pressure silently because expression in his time would have caused fracture instead of formation. Silence preserved the integrity of the assignment. But silence was never the final form. It was a bridge, not a destination. You were born into a generation where truth must be visible, lived, articulated, not hidden. This is why you feel discomfort when you suppress what you know. This is why silence drains you instead of protecting you. Your voice is not rebellion, it is obedience to a different mandate. When you speak, act, choose, and live from alignment, you are not dishonoring him. You are fulfilling what his silence protected. Heaven does not require the same expression in every era. It requires faithfulness to the moment. And this moment requires voice. Activation does not occur only in the mind. It moves through the body because the body holds memory the mind cannot articulate. God says your nervous system, your emotions, even your fatigue are participating in this awakening. Sensations like warmth, tingling, heaviness, sudden emotion, or waves of release are not symptoms of disorder, they are signs of integration. Something that was dormant is coming online. The body responds because it is adjusting to a new level of alignment. Tears surface because compression is lifting. Fatigue appears because internal structures are rearranging. This is not loss of control. It is cooperation between spirit and flesh. Do not fear what your body is doing. Observe without panic. Rest without guilt. Awareness stabilizes activation. And as integration completes, what feels intense now will become steady strength. You are not being undone, you are being reorganized around truth. As the mystery settles into your life, relational changes become unavoidable. God says alignment rearranges proximity. When frequency shifts, compatibility follows naturally. People who once felt close may begin to feel distant without conflict, explanation, or betrayal. This is not rejection, it is recalibration. Some connections were assigned to earlier versions of you, meant to shape you, not to follow you. Others were temporary shelters, not permanent dwellings. Sacred separation does not occur because something went wrong. It occurs because something is finally coming into order. Weight-bearing assignments require clarity, and clarity requires space. Noise blurs discernment. Familiarity can dilute direction. God removes certain voices so his can be heard clearly. Loss during alignment is not punishment, it is refinement. You may feel misunderstood, lonely, or even guilty for outgrowing relationships, but understand this. Nothing that is truly assigned to you will be lost. What falls away was either seasonal or misaligned. Do not chase what cannot follow. Do not explain what does not need explanation. Release without bitterness. Separation creates room for integration. And solitude, when chosen by God, becomes sanctuary rather than isolation. As inheritance integrates, you will notice something subtle, but undeniable, certainty replacing hesitation. Decisions will come with clarity rather than analysis. Not impulsiveness, but knowing. God says this wisdom did not originate in study, it surfaced through remembrance. You will speak insights you never researched, understand people without interrogation, and perceive outcomes before evidence appears. This is not imagination or ego. It is inherited discernment activating naturally. I just know is not arrogance when it flows from alignment. It is memory returning to consciousness. This knowing does not need to argue for itself. It is quiet, grounded, stable. Honor it without idolizing it. Let it guide you, not control you. True wisdom moves with humility. It does not seek attention, it seeks alignment. You are not becoming all-knowing. You are becoming integrated with what has always been within you. God confirms alignment in ways that bypass performance. Confirmation will arrive through unexpected conversations, strangers speaking precise truths without context, moments that feel too specific to dismiss. Heaven prefers subtlety because subtlety preserves sincerity. These confirmations are not meant to excite you, they are meant to steady you. Do not hunt signs. Alignment attracts confirmation naturally. When you are moving correctly, life responds. Looking back, you will see patterns forming where you once saw randomness. Words repeated across different mouths. Themes resurfacing across different seasons. These are trail markers, not destinations. They point forward without demanding attention. Receive them without obsession. Trust grows not from accumulation of signs, but from consistency of movement. God confirms paths already being walked. There will be a moment when understanding settles without explanation. You will see your grandfather reflected in yourself, not as imitation, but as resonance. Gestures, values, ways of seeing life will align naturally. Not because you tried to replicate him, but because the same frequency has found expression through you. Peace will replace curiosity. The mystery will stop feeling external and begin to feel embodied. You will realize you are not carrying his memory, you are carrying his assignment forward. And with that realization comes relief. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not guessing. You are continuing what was faithfully preserved. The baton has not been dropped. It has been received. God says this clearly. What you are carrying is not a puzzle meant to be solved with logic, nor a riddle meant to be decoded with effort. It is a calling meant to be lived. Mysteries lose their power when reduced to explanation. Heaven does not reveal depth for entertainment. It reveals it for responsibility. Understanding is not the goal here. Alignment is. Too many people try to analyze what they are meant to embody, and in doing so, they delay the very thing they were called to become. You are not required to explain this mystery to anyone. You are not required to justify your path, narrate your awakening, or defend your knowing. Your life will speak louder than your explanations ever could. God says restoration does not happen through discussion, it happens through consistency. As you live in alignment, the bloodline heals quietly. What was interrupted resumes without announcement. What was fragmented integrates naturally. Heaven does not need commentary, it needs cooperation. Every time you choose integrity over convenience, depth over surface, obedience over comfort, you are completing something that began long before you were born. Responsibility replaces curiosity at this stage. You are no longer being shown things for fascination, you are being entrusted with them for stewardship. And stewardship is proven not by what you say, but by how you live when no one is watching. Chosen one, receive this as truth, not encouragement. You are not the seed. You are the bloom. What your grandfather carried in silence has reached its moment of expression through you. Silence did its work. Containment fulfilled its purpose. Preservation succeeded. And now, embodiment begins. You do not need to rush forward, and you do not need to look back. Walk steadily. Walk honestly. Walk without apology. Fear has no authority here because fear belongs to uncertainty, and you are no longer uncertain. Your life will feel different now, not dramatic, but grounded. Not chaotic, but clear. Ordinary routines will carry uncommon weight. Simple choices will echo farther than you realize. You are not here to impress the world. You are here to restore alignment. Heaven recognizes what you are carrying. The unseen is no longer watching for readiness, it is responding to movement. And as you live from this place, peace will be your confirmation. The mystery is no longer hidden in the bloodline. It is no longer waiting. It is no longer dormant. It is alive. And it lives through you.